Morning, everybody. Welcome back. So, today is Tuesday, and it's going to be a high of 23 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow is going to be just as warm. So, today would be a good out day to get out and play for an hour a day.
Oh, yeah!
I don't care if you're a kid or adult, do it anyway. If you got the time, you got a few hours to go ahead and crack some eyeballs up. Some outdoor activities, I would do it. So, the most important thing I'm going to say is right now is that I think, at least here in Connecticut anyway, that the weather is nice. I don't know what the story right now in the presence in Southeast Texas, if they're going to be getting a reprieve from all that rain. We'll have to check on that. But I think that from what Gucci said last night is it looks like they might get a little bit of a break today. I don't have a lot of details on that. So if any of you Texans can tell me more details what the weather's like, would appreciate that. So what else is next on your list? Well, I gotta go get money for the hair at the yeah. So you're gonna do that today? Might as well. On the way, go to Cumbies to get a soda, Diet Coke. No cheese this time. Probably not. No. I need to work on my adipose tissue. Oh yes, the flat back. You know what? Talk about fanny packs, right? All the doctor has to do is scrape all the chunky bits inside, basically line it with a nice waterproof lining, and then Michelle has a pouch like a marsupial. It might be kind of different. Oh, you're sure fat. I'm not. I'm just carrying all my cosmetics and everything else I use every day. How come your gut's got a zipper? That's how I keep everything inside. Well, that's good, Smoke. Yeah, there's been some really weird weather events, but I think we can start to see some positive changes. So let's just go through the weather details just real quick. So currently right now Winston is sunny at 17 degrees Celsius. Expected high today is 24 degrees Celsius. Wind this day is 65% chance of rain to 23 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I know. Well, I see what I was saying. Especially if you're in Texas, you're definitely going. The hair day is gonna be a high 20. Is gonna be 40% chance to rain. And Friday will be 50% chance of rain, a high of 13. That's a double. Yeah, not that good. Then, of course, next, does it get any better this weekend? No. 15 on Saturday, cloudy, and 16 degrees with 35 chance of rain on Sunday. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah. Although I did test the air conditioner, make sure it worked yesterday, even though it wasn't really that hot, and I mean, it was doing what it was supposed to do. One of my favorite ones was as a kid playing skee ball. It's Taco Tuesday. Well, I'm not really into tacos all that much. But, only unless it's somebody else's taco you're fingering. Let's not go there. Oh, boy. Good morning, Terry Kitty. Welcome to the show today. I slept a little late. I woke up about 9:10, because it was just having one of those funny dreams. You know, it was kind of a happy, funny dream. It wasn't a terrible one. It was just a bunch of animatronic, you know, toys talking to each other about everything from politics to the weather, and it was just so mesmerizing. I just couldn't resist to watch the whole thing. Yeah. Hello, Melissa. How you doing? Good morning to you. IDN is open right now. Now, by the way, I do know some of you guys have pointed out in the past. You guys have said to me is, you do realize when you have IDN open that your video quality, your picture goes. Like, yeah, I know, but unfortunately enough, you only get so many bits to work with at a time. And so you have to do with what you got and send whatever data you can come, you know, that you have to go out to. So you only get so big of a fire hose. So, you know, had fun on the late night channel last night. Yeah, so did we. Yeah, I thought it was fun. Jojo's request of a pixie came up pretty cool. But I feel the software text to artwork AI sometimes can be a little limiting. Because if I know Michelle, she's the kind of person that would love to just throw the kitchen sink at the AI and say, create this. Kind of like the Kohler commercial, the woman and the man that brings into an architect a faucet and said, build a house around this. And I think that would have been kind of hilarious to see what AI could do if Michelle just threw every single verb, adverb, adjective, verb, pronoun at the AI and say, create something around all those words. I've done that before. I know. And got some really weird stuff too. Yeah. So Krista says, good morning. Where's Melissa? So she's somewhere. Oh, there she is. Good morning. Smoke. And then the California corruption. California changes a person. Yeah, it's kind of like the Mamas and the Papas, right? California dreaming. More like a California nightmare on the Newsom. It's funny because now even the Democrats are saying they missed the Donald Trump times. It's coming, people, I promise you. Yep. Donald Trump is more than likely going to be running again in 2024. I mean, I don't see how he can't, because Biden is, just like the Beatles says, gets by with a little help with his friends, even if they're corrupt, sneaky, dubious liars. Yeah. But at least you can say that Trump at least did stay true to the Constitution. He even said, if I have to go to jail to support my right to free speech, so be it. I don't know anything about New Jersey, honestly. But I can tell you the worst state to live in right now, in order from best to worst, or from worst to best, is California, New York, and then Connecticut. Connecticut is also a blue state, is also a sanctuary state, and yeah. Well, we allow all the illegals to come into Connecticut. We give them all free food, free shelter, free phones, free. Connecticut residents that live here languish in a purgatorium of unhappiness and sadness. Why don't the people of Connecticut vote for politicians that actually support their own people? Well, that's a good question. I don't know why. I mean, we all know that all these democratic enclaves need to seriously change. They can't keep running like this anymore. They're losing their shirts, and their taxes are ridiculously high. And it's like, open up your wallet. It's like, yeah, I get it. Taxes are 75%. I can't afford that anymore. Running again in 2020, I suppose that comment. 2024. I wish he could have run in 2020. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we could go into the TARDIS and actually go back to 2020 and actually found a way to actually help give Trump that additional support? I mean, but then he couldn't run in 2024. No, because then you've already had 2 consecutive terms, and then it would have to be another president in between. But why can't the Democrats choose a better candidate? They got smart people in the party. Why did he have to choose the losers? I don't get it. I'm sorry, YouTube. I understand if you don't like that, but it's true. They could have chosen people that were younger, just as talented and skilled. You choose these old geezers. Both parties do. And it's like, oh, we're gonna choose this old geezer that needs help getting upstairs. And he has to wear non-slip shoes. Actually, I can support the non-slip shoe thing. Look, I'll tell you a secret. Biden realistically doesn't want to fall. Okay, no elderly person wants to fall. And if I tell you why. Number one, once you get to a certain age, breaking a hip is a real reality. It's not because you're not drinking enough milk or any of that stuff. It's because your bones get tired and they get old and they get brittle. You get osteoporosis. I got osteoporosis in part of my spine. Yeah, you get right now, thank God, I don't have any aches and pains back there. But right now, right, you're not having a pain in the ass, pain in the ass, pain in the hips, right? So I gotta approve a comment here. Oh yeah. By the way, the thing is that it's true though. You know, so what happens is that they gave him non-slip footwear to help him to get around from sliding and slipping. Why you would think all presidents would go, hey, I want to look good, but I need to be able to have sure footing so that I don't slide up these stupid steep ramps. It's like Donald Trump experienced going up one of the commencements. It was a ramp that was really steep, and like he needed help getting down because the ramp was so steep. Why do the people these military people it was a military ramp? Why did they make it so steep in the first place? Space. Oh, they probably didn't have enough room. So obviously, for even Trump had to have help getting down the ramp because it was so slippery. But non-slip footwear is vital to protect you from landing on your bum in the back and goes and boom. Next thing you know, your doctor says, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you just broke your hip." "Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna be in traction for a few months." Man, it sucks, man. It does. It would suck. Why can't they? Why couldn't they use stairs? Because it doesn't satisfy the Americans with Disabilities Act. Michelle, you realize that if the ramp's too steep and you're in a wheelchair, and especially if it's a manual wheelchair, you're likely to flip over unless your chair has rollbacks. Yep. Mm-hmm. I found that out the hard way. Yeah, you can. It has to have rollbacks, outriggers, so that you don't fall over and go. But doing really never recovering from it. Yeah. Tiger, can you send Molasses the link? Because I can send her a link. Is she still on Discord? I think she's still on Discord. All right, I'll copy it from Molasses. I do have it. So, let's see if I can find her. Let's give me a second here. Okay. Let's see. And then it gets a little bit sluggish when you do too many things at once. You've been in a hot spot. So let's see if I can find Molasses. I know she's in here because, let's see. MOL. Yeah, I found her. All right. Paste. To join our panel. Okay, check your DM and Discord. You'll see a link there. I posted it to you. In Discord, if you want to come on up. I'd love to get some new people up here today. Okay. I still feel like I'm 74. I'm gonna live forever. Well, I was thinking about that last night, about my own situation. What's gonna happen to me? I mean, you're just gonna wind down like a toy, and then after that, you're gonna go ahead and get refurbished and touched up when you go home to the other side for a little bit. They're gonna help get you ready for Silver Moon. Which brings up a point. How big is Silver Moon? Silver Moon is probably no bigger, or probably not much bigger than Torrington. It's got a fairly large population. Actually, from given what the lore says, it's probably like kind of like Torrington size, where a very sparse population. Even the book talks about that. Yeah, your book does talk about that. The population is kind of sparse after Erithus, but then with all the new people that came in with the Amtrak train run route, they were actually able to rebuild the city. I'm not poor, living below the poverty line. Well, you know what? I'll tell you a secret. I mean, from what I understand about the English breakfast, it doesn't really take much to make one. Baked beans to start with, sausages, a few other things. It's not like ridiculously expensive. I mean, not something I would cook every day because, like most people in the UK, are the same way. They eat box cereal um, for daily stuff. Um, but fajita got sprayed by a skunk again last night. Yeah, I hope she didn't get it in her eyes because that can cause permanent blindness. Now, it's funny, a skunk that can barely see can be a heck of a sharpshooter. Yeah, they can be. That's one thing that's very, very frustrating for any animal to get sprayed by a skunk. Especially when you realize that skunks only can send out a maximum of 6 shots at a time because they have to recharge um, their skunk glands. They don't hold an infinite amount of spray. They have to make it fresh. Um, but skunks still have teeth though, so don't um, you don't want to eat microwave waffles. No, those things are get hard. It's hockey pucks. At least use a toaster oven. It's better anyway. At least it can get nice and brown and warm and look good. Well, I mean, I don't know, but it's kind of interesting to think about it. How much has our show changed over the years? By the way, yesterday's show did pretty good for video. I mean, it was. I mean, last night's show was 190 viewers. 190 viewers last night. Thank you for everybody that's been sharing it. I mean, it was. I don't usually get 190 views in a single night stream. That was nice.
Oh yeah!
So it only happens if you continue to share out the videos to everybody. We'd love to have you subscribe. We also would love to have you to continue to share the videos with everybody.
Oh yeah!
Okay. If I want to buy maple syrup, if I have the money, I'll buy the real stuff from either Northeast United States, like Vermont, New Hampshire, or from Canada. I'll buy both. I like the dark amber syrups. Oh, those things are expensive. Even before inflation, those were still expensive. Yeah, they are. So don't TMI. Come on, Chris. No one needs that much detail. Except maybe your gastroenterologist. Yeah, your gastroenterologist. Yeah, I know the sandwich makers. And basically, it's Presto used to make one. Yep. In the United States. It's kind of a variation of panini press. Breville is the rarest she has. Breville. Okay. United States Presto made a lot of stuff, a lot of food items for the house. Yeah, well, anyway, so we used to have them for supper on Sundays. I love a toasted sandwich. Oh, closest thing I ever had to a toasted sandwich was a grilled cheese, which was a toasted sandwich. Yeah, it is. I know sometimes Michelle used to go to lunch when she was in middle school. They would have those grilled cheeses and they would throw tomatoes on it. Oh, yuck. I hated that. It was like, can you make me one with no tomatoes, please? I really can't eat tomatoes because it, for some reason, the acidity of them just ruins my stomach because I'm very acid sensitive. So I can't drink a lot of acidic stuff, eat or drink a lot of acidic stuff. Once in a while I do. Reminds me, don't you gotta make some pasta to go with the sauce that's still in the refrigerator? Yep. Oh, but we'll get something that done. And of course, tonight's movie night, and you don't even have a movie. Nope. You can get more fun when you go out for a movie. Well, unfortunately, I can't walk to the drive, and that's in the middle. It's in Berkhamsted. If it's even open now, I think it is now because its weather's good. Yeah. Um, Smoke said, I'll never forget being in the Sacramento airport, seeing people paying $12 for a ham and cheese panini. Well, it seems that for men, they can tend to handle things that are a little more acidic than most women can because of the pH of the man is higher than that of a woman. I know what you were saying. Is there really that much dimorphism between male and females? It depends. In certain areas, there is differences between the two. Which is kind of shocking to think about. I don't like airports either. No, I got a hand. So once, goodbye so hard. But I personally don't really like being in places with a large crowd. I tend to be like the kind of person that kind of likes to hang out with just like one or two people, maybe. Michelle's still trying to talk to Patty about meeting up, but it's like Patty's schedule's a mess, Michelle's schedule's a mess, and like they can't figure out when they were supposed to do it. We talked about probably hanging out during Wee Woo. Oh, or before Wee Woo. It's tomorrow, by the way. Does anybody know if Wee Woo is still on? Because I was not on last week. And it was not on the week before. And I don't know if it's still on. What the schedule is. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know what J Max up to with PDX. I have no idea because they haven't had Weevil for at least 2 weeks. No. So they're obviously doing something. Yeah. Let's get the panel open, people. Come on up. Tiger Kitty, Molasses, you got a link. I sent it to you. And won't you guys come on up? I haven't seen her in a while. But from what I understand, the last time she was getting ready for the trip to Pennsylvania. So I think she might still be out in Pennsylvania right now. Right. How you doing, David? Ask how you doing today. So I don't know if there's gonna be Wee Woo tomorrow or not, and I have no idea. But if I find out, I'll let you guys know on the Discord as soon as I can. And if anybody still wants to join the Discord, just like Patrick says, it said, sorry, we closed the panel to public Discord. Email bichlea3 at gmail.com for an invite. So you have to email me. So bichlea3 at gmail.com for an invite to join the Discord. We still do want new people to come, but we keep trying to make it public, and it keeps turning out to become a giant mistake. So the new Wee Woo season hasn't started yet. They have a season? I thought G-Mac did it mostly when he had time. I don't know. Yeah, but it's not always free. People donate to the program. You know, I donated $10 to Wee Woo. Yeah, but I do check out their channel for other videos too. It's not just Wee Woo. I just go for a banter. I understand that. You did win once. Yeah, you did. I remember that. You won one time when I was there. Did you like the original Willow? And would you support the movie? I never seen Willow. So I wouldn't know. I got a job on a boat. You can get them for free. Yes, it is. Okay. I don't like their coffee either because it's too strong. I do like the white chocolate, but it's too sweet. And the dark chocolate is a little too dark. What if you had a custom made drink of, say, put some white cocoa and some hot cocoa together and stir? That might work. Yeah. Okay, well, I thought you did one once. Do you even know if the Wee Woo card would even, if the Starbucks card would even work in the UK? Does anybody know what's going on with PDX, though? Actually, that's a good question. She hasn't been around a lot. Is she still in Pennsylvania, still doing those ghost huntings? Well, cappuccino's strong anyway. Espresso is even stronger. Oh, yeah. So, Right now, there's nobody on Kick right now. Salted caramel coffee. I don't know if I'd like that. She's been home for a while. I down a 4-pack of those frappuccinos in the mocha. Oh my god. Most of my coffee's pretty plain anyway. I don't know. I'm drinking cold instant coffee right now. Doesn't take me very long. Put in a tablespoon of coffee ground instant coffee in 2 little 5 milligrams of shots of saccharin, about 30 milliliters of milk, 30 milliliters. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then just run it under the kitchen tap, fill it up, and boom, coffee's done. It makes it fast to show. So I'm out on the porch watching. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can go try to find a cup holder at the CVS, and I gotta go back there and try to get some Noxema. I don't need to get it right now, but I was gonna get some ahead of time. But when I was looking there, I couldn't find it, and I said to myself, I might as well get some Q-tips. The only thing was, my legs are starting to hurt, so I went over there. I got the coffee. That was the one thing I got over there at CVS because I realized we forgot to get the coffee. So, well, lying is not something I recommend everybody do, but withholding information is not lying. No, withholding information that is not needed information is not lying. But if somebody actually asks you, point out for facts, you better say yes. Yeah, I do. You know. Let's see. All right, so who wants to come up on panel? It's Molasses. Okay, let's get her up here. One moment, please. Good morning. How you doing? She's getting herself set up, I think. There she goes. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, I just I don't usually use this phone. What? I'm talking to Michelle. Oh.
Yeah, you're talking to Michelle and Mummy, yeah. So you usually don't use this phone. What phone do you usually use?
Oh yeah, I got 2 phones. I got like my regular phone, and then I got like a Wi-Fi phone. I got a phone that I had with AT&T, and once I got off of AT&T, if I still use it if I have Wi-Fi connection. So that's what I'm on. I have Text Now on this phone, and yeah, I just use it for Wi-Fi.
You know, if the phone is unlocked, you realize you can put the SIM chip for the other one into that one.
No, because the SIM card goes with that free government phone, and it's not compatible with Samsung.
Oh, you tried it already?
Yeah.
Okay, Tiger Kitty wants to come up too. 1 minute, please. Admit one. Go ahead, Tiger Kitty. How you doing?
Does it not do the ding dong anymore?
It does. It did from Molasses. I heard it.
Oh. Oh, Molasses is here.
Yes. How you doing, Tiger Kitty?
Hi. We must have had the same idea at the same time.
Yep, that's right. I'm just sitting here having my coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm having my my coffee too.
I'm having my tea.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I'm having Tetley tea, British blend.
Yeah, Tetley is one of the best right there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I get into the tea. I had like a major tea collection back in California. I had to leave behind because I was,
Yeah.
packing light.
Michelle's got a load of tea I sent her, but she hasn't been drinking it.
Twinings tea. I got, yeah.
Twinings. I sent her all different ones. She's got all different
I know. I
flavors.
usually just drink coffee though in the morning. Yeah, she
I know,
does.
but I sent you it so you could review it. Like, just think
Yeah,
how
that's
many
a great idea.
little videos
Well, I
you can do
reviewed the
with doing.
Yorkshire tea, which I thought was pretty good. I
No,
actually
Michelle,
got up late today, so I was kind of in a bit of a hurry.
But you need ideas for doing these little shorts. That's where
Yeah, that would
you
be
can do the
perfect.
little tea reviews.
Well, right now, today's gonna be a nice day to go out again. Back to Cumbies. I'm thinking about trying to find a cup holder so I can hang it on my walker, so I can put a fountain drink in there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. The only thing is, the ones I've seen for cars, they tend to just be like a hook that's supposed to hook on a car window. I don't know.
What about some Velcro? A Velcro thing that you can strap onto your wall.
Yeah, you probably could use some of those Linus Tech Tips or some of those LTT.com Velcro cable straps, something like that.
Why do you need a drink holder?
Because
on the walker?
Michelle usually is using both hands when she's walking with the walker. So she likes to have both hands on the wheel, so to speak.
But you're drinking a drink in a bottle, so you can just sling it in your bag.
That's why Michelle usually buys the 20 ounce sodas, but the problem is they're $2.49 each.
Oh, you want something that's going to carry a massive bottle?
No, I said 20 ounce or about.
I just don't know why you need a holder. Why can't you just throw it in?
Do you get the coffee, Michelle? Do you buy the coffee at Cumby?
If I bought the fresh coffee at Cumbies, it comes in the cup. But the problem is it's not likely not to spill if it gets put in sideways.
Oh, right.
But
that's why I said
hold your soda, your 20-ounce bottle of soda.
Yeah, those come in cap, closed. I don't need a cup holder for the soda.
Oh, so it's for actually a coffee or something,
right? Or a
but even then, Michelle, you're walking on a walker. I would imagine that's gonna, unless your pavements are very slick, wouldn't that be? It's different than holding it.
Yeah. Because you have to remember, you have to have two hands on the wheel, so to speak.
Point.
I'm just thinking it's going to go everywhere because it's on wheels and it's going to be. Right, I don't know. You know better than me, Michelle. You know what your roads are like.
Well, let's put it this way: Michelle occasionally has to replace the wheels in the walker, so she just buys the wheels and she just replaces them herself. That's
right. Yeah, yeah.
Because Winsted sidewalks rip the heck out of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
All right. Well, I think you should do it and just see if it works. Why not? If you go dollar store, it'll. Just trying to think if I've got one anywhere.
I forgot to look in it. We didn't go to the dollar store this weekend because we actually went straight to Stop and Shop to get the supplies we needed for the house. Because otherwise it would have been going to a dollar store to get one thing, then bang or boomerang way back to Stop and Shop to get everything else. So we just said, screw Dollar General. We're just going to go straight to Stop and Shop to get the food. And that's what we did.
When you doing your big shot?
My big shot?
Big shop. Thought you were going shopping.
Oh, we already did some shopping already. That's where I got the fruits, the vegetables, things like that. Some pack of chicken. I know I forgot the chickens in the refrigerator now, defrosting. And then we're going to probably cook some of that tonight. What are they going to put on it?
Maine is boring, Red. Maine is so boring. It's so boring here. It's like, ugh. There's nothing to do here.
There's nothing to do here where I live either.
Yeah.
but it's also safe.
Yep. I miss in California for the movies. I mean, for $21, we could do unlimited movies. Now, if I want to go to the movies, it's $15 a pop.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
So I miss that. I mean, I thought I would be saving money moving to Maine, but everything's so far away that you're just spending money on gas trying to get to stuff.
Right. So you got to make a trip of it, you know.
Yeah.
But right now you're living with mom and dad, as I understand it right now, which is still kind of saving money too.
Well, I did give them rent money, so I mean, there's that. But yeah, it's definitely different than what I would have been paying if I lived in California.
Well, it definitely is different in California scheming, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have Gavin Newsom coming up with stupid policies. One thing.
There is a lot, yeah. But we have Janet Mills, so it's basically the same thing. I mean,
yeah, I don't know much about the governor of Maine, but
yeah, she's not that great.
Yeah.
But
Maine is beautiful, even if you think
it is. But there's just nothing to do other than sit and look at the beauty. I mean, there's really nothing. There's hardly any
people like me that pay to go on cruises to go there.
Like I've been trying to meet guys on dating apps, and I just talked to someone this morning. I'd have to drive 5 hours away to meet this guy. I mean,
you were with Cruiser.
Well, we're so far away. We just figured we'd date other people,
Oh, okay.
Well, that would make sense. Open-ended relationships, yeah.
But I mean, just trying to find another guy to date. I mean, literally, the guy I was just talking to this morning is like, "Hey, do you want to meet?" He's like 5 hours away. He's like five hours away.
Well, you said this said 5 hours. You meant 5 miles.
5 hours.
No, 5 hours.
Really?
He's down in Portland.
Yeah,
he's down in Portland.
No.
He's down in Portland.
Every day in Cruiser. 5 hours.
I might as well. Exactly. I might as well.
You need to set a parameter. You need to be, I think, within of boyfriend material. I mean, an hour and a half. I think hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour is probably good.
2 maybe push.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't do shit with each other, can you?
Maine is not too much different than, say, Oregon and Washington. When you think about it, it's kind of similar. Very much.
It is.
Unless you get into Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon, then it's yeah. That's rough. The two are almost the same.
That's right.
Of course, I bet it's not too nice in Fairbanks, Alaska, either. No. I watch videos in Fairbanks. Fairbanks ain't much to do in Fairbanks. There's even less to do in Barrow. Yeah. Barrow is the last place you want to live unless you're a real homebody. And it's like so far from everything. Everything has to be imported from the lower 48 by truck or plane.
Yeah.
You got to fly everything into Barrow.
Well, I've been to Maine and it was nice.
Yeah, nice. I've been to Maine. It's not bad. Like she said, it's pretty far out. There's not a lot going on in Maine.
No. And I live way up the coast. I mean, there was somebody that I was talking to on the dating site, and he was like he lives in a pretty remote place, and he was talking about, wow, you live really way out there. I was like, yeah, I do. I live pretty remote.
Oh, so you're not like where all the action is?
No,
where all the cruise ships are coming in and everything.
I've got to drive 2 hours just to get to a Target.
Oh, yeah. Grizz, you would love it. Grizz would love it.
Yes, Grizz would love it. Grizz would love it here. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not your kind of place, Molasses, I don't think.
Yeah.
I live.
I grew up here and stuff, but after being away and being where there's stuff going on, it's hard to get adjusted again. I
Yeah.
did, I was creative. I made stuff work, and I did stuff.
What do you think the world would be like if we actually had portals like you see in World of Warcraft, or even something like the transporter, like in Star Trek? If you could just beam from one place to another.
I know, it'd be great.
Think about this: you could live in Maine and work in California. You just beam to
Yeah.
work every day.
That's right.
I don't know how
That'd be
expensive that would
perfect.
be, but think about it. And I bet the tax code would probably be frustrating as heck too.
Yeah, no kidding. But we probably have the technology to do this. I mean, they talk about the teleportation. What is it, in the South Pole or something like that? And the government has done teleportation. What was that? The Philadelphia experiment and all this stuff. I mean, they say it's possible.
Yeah. Or what happened to the clock? In the German, what they call the bell, the clock. The clock disappeared, and then they think they found it in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania. Like,
Yeah.
a couple of years later, like in '56. How did it go all the way from Germany to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's possible. I do think it's possible. I think that there's been research done on it.
Energy.
And
Energy is the problem. It takes a lot of energy. And notice that the guy apparently ended up in the future, not the past, and not in the present time. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, they were talking about, I remember listening to a podcast about building the pyramids, and they were talking about them using some sort of crystal energy to move these big, pieces of material that they were building the pyramids with. So I don't know.
They were
That's
using
what this
sonic energy, from what I've heard. That's what they're using. Alien technology is sonic energy to levitate materials. I don't know how practical that really is, but theoretically we can levitate things with sound. I mean, yes, we can do that. Just as the people Ben and Jerry, or was it Ben and Jerry's? Yeah, Ben and Jerry's invented a way to use sound to refrigerate.
Oh yeah, no way.
Using helium.
Wow, look what David's writing. There's portals, but no one knows how to use them. And people have entered portals in New York and ended up in California.
Oh wow.
And it's been documented.
And
oh my God. How would that do your head in? Oh my God. Oof.
And think about this. We've heard of time travelers from the future going back in time.
Yeah.
So the question is, you can hear those in Coast to Coast AM. But I mean, if we can have time travelers in the future going back in time, I'm going to leave the paradox of it out because that's only just going to give everybody a headache. The whole idea is that you can go in the past, but can you go anywhere in the present to somewhere else in the present? Like we're talking about porting. Because, like, if you think of what the book even the radio serial I wrote was talking about, was you have this Amtrak train that goes through Danbury, Connecticut, goes to a portal created by a series of blood elf mages, goes to Silver Moon, delivers people and goods to Silver Moon. It's bidirectional, so they can also go. It's kept going the whole time, but it only closed when the train isn't running because they don't want to have illegals coming across. But at the same time, the mages were training other people to become mages. So I guess, and then what that means is, how would that affect INS and immigration? Think about think about the Central Border. Border Patrol be like. You talk about the wall. Well, if you can make a teleport, or have a portal, you can go right through the wall. Screw the wall. The wall is no longer a thing. Oh, I mean, like, for example, if you're in Tijuana, you go, I want to go to Hartford. No problem. Find a mage. Hey, I need to go to Hartford. Okay, mage opens up a portal, and instantly you're in Hartford, Connecticut. No coyotes needed. You know, like, how would that affect everything?
With the time travel, Michelle, like if they went back in time, like we'd have a record of it that with the past travel, but with the future travel, we wouldn't know yet. It's only the people. It's only the people in the. It's only the us of the future that would be able to even know. You know, so we don't have a. We can't record.
Well,
the
that's just
future.
it. If you watch Art Bell or you watch George Norrie on Coast to Coast, they're always talking about how they came from the future, and they say that they know what's happening in the immediate present or in the immediate future because they have information about it, and then they come back to us and they tell us things, and some of the stuff is pretty interesting to hear about. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty. It is. It's fascinating. It's I know there's been other cases. Wasn't there something with there was another guy that was associated with Tesla that was trying to work on some kind of like perpetual energy thing that disappeared, right? They thought he had gone time traveling or something.
Oh yeah, and there was also the Art Bell story about a man that found a way to make a time machine or a portal machine. Originally thought it was just gonna be for portal. And then he got money to build a larger version of it, and he teleported through, and the amount of energy he was using was intense, and he transported to the future or something, but it had no money or anything on him, just him. And that's kind of weird to hear that story. Like, wait, he managed to realize he couldn't carry any metal unless he was shielding it.
I just tried to Google it. I just now that there's a Tesla car, it's hard to when you type Tesla, it's hard to get just Nikolai Tesla. But yeah, there was like a cloning machine, some sort of it's a bunch of different.
All this shit scares the shit out of me.
Could you imagine Michelle and I could be
like it.
Could you imagine
like
me and Michelle could be cloned, like, almost like running a Xerox machine, and all of a sudden they have two copies of Michelle, basically, and they're both laying in bed and they're both screaming.
Well, think about the bad things that can happen when you start messing with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we also know it's CERN. There's always concern with CERN, right? CERN in Geneva, Switzerland is always doing something.
Yeah.
A couple of portals have been opened a couple times with CERN, which really kind of like the strange over CERN was a strange portal-like thing. And then a couple of weeks ago, there was a strange thing about some space anomaly. As people wonder if it was a portal or if it was an aurora. Well, it definitely is not an aurora. Looking at the photograph, I said, well, just a still photo. I said, it definitely is not an aurora. It doesn't look like an aurora I've ever seen. And like I said to Red, I said, you sure it's, you realize CERN is running right now, right? So it's kind of interesting. Now and we all think we have opened up portals to a dark space, which unfortunately has brought some pretty unpleasant, unwelcome people to this planet.
Oh, Smoke says he would prank call Art Bell.
What's that?
Smoke said he would prank call Art Bell
in
the 90s. I like George Norrie better. Art Bell's great. He's classic, iconic, but I did really get into George. I love George Norrie.
I like George Norrie. I was watching him on Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. It was fun. Yeah. I didn't really know much about Art Bell. But I do know that Art Bell had a lot of very loyal audience members on his show. And he's brought up some interesting stuff. In fact, it was bringing up those interesting things is why his show was so successful. I don't really like that George Knapp guy they have on occasionally, but that's because the way he does the stories doesn't really resonate with me. Too many colors and also kind of an unusual shape. Red. The shape was almost like it was kind of like a flat discus kind of thing. It's an aurora is not a discus; it's usually a sheet. Um,
So, Michelle, if you could go back or forward, where would you go?
if I only could stay on Earth,
Yeah, it's like now, right? Someone's at your door and says, right, you could go, you can just do it once. Do you want to go forward or do you want to go back?
if
Just to have a little look-see and a walk around for an hour.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know,
question.
I think I'd probably go back into maybe the late 19th century just for the technology research alone. I mean, a lot of technology has been lost over the ages that we don't really talk about because we can't figure out how it all worked. Like the 200-year-old battery that's still running. Nobody knows even what the battery's made out of because obviously to take it apart means it would no longer be working. And that battery is still running to this day. That little pendulum that rings a bell after almost 200 years.
If I was going back, I'd want to meet old family members. I wouldn't care about the technology so much. I'd want to see what my great, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I
but
think I would go.
then again, you get into a thing called the time paradox. That is if you met your grandfather or grandmother or great grandmother or father, aren't you going to potentially be changing your history?
Well, I'm not doing anything with them. I just want to have a look-see.
I know, but just by the knowledge of them, your knowledge of the present, which would be their future, could irreparably change
I
the
guess
timeline.
I'd have to keep my mouth shut, wouldn't I?
Yeah, and leave your cell phone at home. Considering the fact that there is a photograph that shows a woman in the 1920s using a modern cell phone. Who's she calling?
Oh, wow.
There was no cell towers back in the 1920s. I don't know. Maybe she was just playing Snake.
What? She's holding something up to her mouth, right? Because it looks like a phone. Actually, that's sniffing salts or something. Somebody was saying this. I think it might have been new.
They did find modern
because the roads and everything stunk then, so they had to walk around with like things up to their mouths. It's not a phone,
right? That's true. That's true, Tiger Kitty.
They did find a modern digital watch in a 10,000. Was it at least a couple 1,000-year-old tomb they never opened before? And they opened the tomb, and there was a modern digital watch inside the tomb. And they're like,
well,
this thing was hermetically sealed. How did they put a watch in there? It wasn't even opened. And there was a modern digital watch inside the tomb. Obviously, the battery had run flat, but
an animal could have grabbed hold of it and run around with it and then dragged it down there.
I don't think so. The tomb was still sealed shut. It was never opened until archaeologists opened it. They had to use a chisel to get it open. And there was a modern digital watch inside the tomb.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I can't answer that.
But still got to admit that'd be kind of interesting now. I mean, what would a Casio watch survive being entombed in a rock casket for 3,000 years? I mean, did the rubber turn to goo? Did the electronics work once they put a new coin battery in there?
Yeah, I just Googled that. There are pictures from like World War II. There's some guy, looks like he's using a cell phone. There's some other video from the 50s. It looks like someone's using a cell phone.
But there obviously was no cell phone tower, so they couldn't call anybody.
Yeah, that's right. There wouldn't have been any towers.
Unless they were just listening to some notes they recorded before they left.
Right, that's right, on a little handheld device.
But then if you ever watch some of the Doctor Who's there with Tennant, he actually modified one of the people's cell phones so it would work in the TARDIS. So I guess you could theoretically do that.
Yeah.
A miniature cell tower in your ship or wherever you're stationed, right?
Right.
That would travel. I mean, could you imagine that irritating? I'm in 1929 San Francisco when Patty calls me. Ren, where are you? I'm 1929 San Francisco.
Yeah.
How do you get to 1929 San Francisco? It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that TV show? There was it was Stephen King. Oh, I think it was on Hulu. I can tell you what it is because I was watching it. It was like let me get back to my TV here. The guy
speaking of
teleported
interesting
through
thing that was old is kind of new again is the old mechanical typewriter. People are buying those things again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen King did most of his writing on his mechanical typewriter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I never really got into Stephen King. I thought that he was too descriptive for me. He would like describe everything,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Well, I'm kind of descriptive too, but I'm not into that genre. So if you ever,
Yeah.
I'll send you some of the writing I've done. Even the Silver Moon book I'm doing is pretty. I kept it simple because especially when I did the radio scripts, which I'm working on, that would be very hard to fit a detailed explanation into a radio script that's meant to be like 15 minutes long, 15 minutes to 30 minutes long. So you start describing everything, and then if you get too detailed, and everybody goes like, well, what is this, the instruction manual?
It's not on Hulu anymore, but it was 11/22/63 was the name of the show. And it was James Franco. And it was like he would teleport back to around the time of the assassination of Kennedy through this door in this shop, this guy's shop. It was quite interesting show.
Yeah.
11/22. Yeah, it was on Hulu, but it's not on there anymore. I don't know where you can find it.
Well,
I don't know. Let me see.
Where my record shelf is. That's that little closet. But imagine, if you will, if you turn that into a portal where you could teleport into another dimensional plane.
Rusty would go in.
Yeah,
it.
you
would lose Rusty.
Well, Rusty right now is outside, by the way. But I mean, like, the idea was that you could go through that door and you go into another area, which is like truly like the Snow Queen Palace, where you would have a throne, you'd have all icicles, you'd have, a nice fancy dais.
I do love your ideas of the afterlife, Michelle.
My idea is the afterlife. Let's
like Silver Moon. When you say you're going to Silver Moon and you describe it, it sounds wonderful.
Silver Moon is basically a place very similar to places like Tegeta and the Pleiades, which is kind of place where magic and science kind of coincide with each other. It's like,
so you're not going to heaven then? How can you believe in God and
I do believe in heaven. We're going to be going there as a waypoint because that's where we're going to get our debriefings. Yeah. So we chose that we're not going to stay in heaven for much more longer than you stay in an airport to connect between planes. So we're going to go pretty much to heaven.
So you leave here, you jet off to heaven, then you leave heaven, and then you go to Silver Moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
because we've got family members we want to talk to. Plus, we're going to meet up with Carmen. We're going to meet up with a few other people that are interested in going with us.
Oh. And how are you going to get to Silver Moon from
Well,
heaven?
that's where you are basically reborn into a zygote, which then becomes a little baby soul that basically is fertilized by the man's sperm and the father and the mother. You become the egg. But your firmware is still there on the other side. So you just download the firmware as you need to. So, like, again, they install the operating system usually, as Sylvia Brown says, 6 months. I mean, when you're first born, your operating system, that is the core components of your system, is running. That's when you get your blood, your heart, your lungs, and everything's formed. But usually 6 months within the womb is when you kind of your soul essence is downloaded. But you only have so much space, so they only give you like a little kernel, like a corn kernel of knowledge that you can use. But some people tend to remember a lot more than they need to. Like there are kids that are like 3-year-old talking about experiences like from 100 years ago, and they go into detail what their life was like 100 years ago. It's really kind of fascinating because most people don't really remember their past because unless they need to. So they usually start out from scratch. At least
Yeah, I know that. Do you remember Doreen Virtue?
yeah, I remember the name, yeah.
Yeah, she did a lot with like star children and different generations that were born
Right.
with different gifts.
She talked
But
about the
she
Pleiadians, the
but
Star Childs.
she had become Christian, and a lot of people were upset because they really liked Doreen Virtue and a lot of the research she did, and then she became Christian and she just went against everything that she had previously said. But Doreen Virtue, yes, she was really interesting and had a lot of research done, a lot of like tarot cards and all kinds of different things, and then went Christian.
Grace, Helen Keller's family didn't even have indoor plumbing. It's true, they didn't.
Wow.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is Doreen Virtue, this is what I would say if I was Doreen Virtue, especially after you became a Christian. I would ask myself now wait a minute, all the research I did and all the research I hear now, do they dovetail each other? Because I think they do, because I was a Roman Catholic priest to pagan. I'm like, oh, this does mesh. Because even in the Old Testament talks about reincarnation in some of the lost Apocrypha books. They do talk, not the Apocrypha, the other books that were left out of the Jerusalem canon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I think they were called the Apocrypha, the ones that were left out.
Right. Usually when you hear about the Apocrypha, usually it refers to the modern books. But okay, so I'll just call them what they are.
Oh, okay.
The Jerusalem canon, which was canonized by the scribes and of the Jewish community back before.
And then the Catholic Bible has like the Book of Wisdom. The Book of Wisdom is not in the
Wisdom, Enoch, all these books. I mean, the Catholic Church kept a lot of them, but a lot of the Protestants don't really know much about the Book of Tobit or the Book of Enoch. But the thing is what's fascinating is what some of these books cover. For example, the Book of Tobit said to Tobit, "I knew you before you knew you." Meaning, I created you. Also, so I knew what you were going to be because I designed you from the beginning. It's just like me and Lummy.
Right.
We're souls, but we were divided from one soul, but yet we rejoined together as a couple again, which kind of makes it a little bit awkward, but it works for us. But
I thought
Right.
you decided you weren't going to be with Lumi in the next life.
well, everybody said, wouldn't you guys like to be able to experience independent lives and then later come back together again as a couple, as two separate people? And that's kind of an interesting idea. We want to look into it. But that means I have to accept
Well,
the
now
Michelle's.
Carmen's around. Yeah. No wonder you're looking into it.
And Carmen herself wants another chance to start over because she had a hard life in the last life, and she kind of wants to start over fresh too.
So Michelle and Carmen are running off into the sunset, and poor old Lumi.
Well, actually, I think what's going to happen in the end, and I think it's just going to have to be Michelle and Carmen are just going to be more working together professionally, but it's going to probably be me and Michelle in the end. I think it's going to be, we're going to get back together. Because originally, when I rewrote my life chart, I'm like, I don't know why I chose to get married to a real slug of a guy, but apparently, that's when we had that dream. We mentioned many times here before when Michelle was dancing with Carmen after I had to deal with a rotten man that always was worried about me as a trophy wife. And Carmen told me straight out, she said, if you don't like what you're going to see now, it's not too late to change your life chart so that you can come out with a better plan. You don't want to get stuck with a kind of guy like that.
Well, certainly not if he only sees you as a trophy wife. You need to be more than...
Considering that she went through the same thing already when she married that director. Yeah, she did. That's what she told me. She said, Lumi, you haven't even started at life, so you can change it now before you start it. Because once the program starts, it's kind of hard to change it.
Oh, I actually texted Ed today, but he hasn't answered yet.
Yeah.
I just asked him how he's doing.
Well, we know that the real Ed doesn't actually watch my show. I asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still. So Lumi has been revising her life chart. She hasn't told me anything about it, but I have a hunch that she
might not even involve you. She might be sick to death of Carmen. Moving on.
No, actually, I'm still going to be getting involved back with Michelle. I think Carmen also wants to have some fun too. But I think the hardest thing for me to understand is that since we're going to be separate people, is that Michelle is going to be dating other people, and that's kind of hard because I'm like not really comfortable with that. But then again, as separate people, we would both be dating other people.
Michelle, I had gotten news about one of those apartments in Rockland, Maine. But the thing is, I don't have your income. I need your income information and your social security card and all this stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and try to get the apartment and then see what we can do. You might have to put in your own.
I think for you getting the apartment right now would be a good thing because you're an SSI, I'm an SSDI. It's going to mess up all your money. If I get involved in there, because they're going to probably cut your SSI big time if I moved in. Because they're going to go by...
Michelle doesn't want to move. Don't piddle about. Just be honest. She doesn't want to move.
Oh, what I just told Molasses is also true. That's also really the reason why I don't know if it would be a good idea to move in with a person on SSI.
Yeah, I might. Well, I went ahead and did the paperwork, and I'll see, what happens if I get the apartment, and then I can maybe change at least or something. I don't know if you do want to move. I can work out something from there. I just got this thing from Carlos about P2E passed away.
Yeah. Who's P2E?
He's been in different communities. I've seen Prepping to Endure.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when SSI, the rules are very strict. If you live with someone on SSDI,
well, you were all for this, Michelle. You were talking back and forth with Molasses, like you were doing this. You were excited,
right? But then
What-
she
yeah,
explained to
and
me
I've
she
got
was
the
on
thing in
SSI,
Nevada.
which immediately, brought up concerns because the way SSI rules are. I'm sure Molasses can explain
Well,
them
no,
to
I
you.
get disability as well, Michelle. I get disability as well, but I don't know. I don't know how that would work as far as our combined income for the apartment. I do know I got that thing in
On
Nevada too.
SSI, it would totally mess you up. On SSDI, it don't mess you up.
And I had mentioned you
this is a
to.
totally different conversation, Michelle. You're having now. So poor Molasses has been thinking with you in mind when she's getting her new apartment,
Right.
and
But she also needs all my information too, which I could give her. But the minute I do that, they're gonna go out of our combined income between the both of us. And her SSI will be cut because she's living with somebody who's on SSDI.
apparently, if the bedrooms are listed as A, B, and C, it's not combined income.
It
I don't know
is
how- I
combined
don't know how it
income.
works.
It would be combined income of the household. Because that's the way the program works. So she
Yeah.
would, and she can double check that with Social Security Administration herself if she's not sure.
Right. No, I do think you're right on that one, Michelle. I think they're going to have to count both our incomes.
And if you really seriously do want to go back to Cruiser again, that means that maybe you and Cruiser might want to go together and then have him eventually move here. But
yeah, he doesn't want to live with a woman. He said he doesn't want to. I think we would be fine roommates,
we get
but
along
he doesn't want to live.
personality wise. We get along fine. There's no doubt about it. But I don't want to sabotage your benefits either. See,
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that, Michelle. Only if you're married or a dependent. Planet Moose says, and he's
no,
one
it
of your
still
biggest
counts the
supporters.
same as combined income. That's what they go by. How you doing, Planet Moose? Welcome to the show today.
Yeah, hi Moosey. Where you been?
I do know that my friend of mine had her son living there, and he got a job, and they definitely counted, and they were paying like a third of the income, so they were counting his income. And anytime there's an income change in the household, it affects your rent.
Michelle,
Right.
read Grizz's comment.
So, I mean, if it was SSD, you could just
No, read Grizz's
because it
comment.
wouldn't vary if there was two people living together or not, because it's not the
Grizz
same
said,
rules.
Michelle, my daughter is on SSI and I'm on SSDI. My income does not affect her income.
That's family. Yeah. That's family.
Well, maybe I think he's right then, Michelle. It might be all right.
Planet Moose says it doesn't work like that. So
Yeah.
Well, I would say
I
just
think
definitely talk to Social Security just to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put you in a situation where everything gets all messed up and then, you're angry about how your check was sliced and
Yeah, no, I'm
diced.
not worried about losing the SSI. I think Planet Moose is right about that. But the only thing I'm worried about is how it's going to affect rent, how it's going to affect how they're going to figure the rent.
Oh, it's going to affect the rent because obviously I'm going to be paying more into the rent because of obvious reasons. Because I'm the one who makes $1,524 a month.
Yeah, see, I don't know how that's the thing I'm not sure about is how
And
they
we don't know if there's
that.
any income limitations to their program.
Right.
I mean, usually something like 125% of the median income of the area. So, I mean, I think I'd be fine there. But, it's also you and I have never really been together for very long. We never really talked about, hung out for like weeks or even a week. So we don't.
I tend to keep to myself a lot. I mean, I'm not really living with me is kind of like living alone, I think. I mean, I don't really cause too many troubles.
Right, I understand that.
So are
I
you
tend to
still
stay to
into the
myself
idea,
too.
Michelle, or not? You need to
What's
be
that
honest.
now?
Are you into the idea or not?
Yeah, I'm into the idea, but I just want her to make sure that she's not going to basically be making creating problems for herself at the same time.
Okay.
Especially since she said she wants to eventually go back to cruise her. Then how is that going to work? You know, and
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd be going back to cruiser. I mean, a lot's really changed. I mean, right at this moment in time, I'm not going to be living with cruiser. I mean, it'd be cool to be able to hang out and stuff, but
right,
I would only be able to do that if I got the apartment back in California, and that I don't know about. I'm talking about an apartment. The only one I have gotten a response from is one in Maine, but I
yeah.
didn't want to act. I went ahead and acted on it independently, Michelle, because I didn't have your
Besides, you already
your
applied
financial.
before we even met too.
No, I applied to Rockland for a 2-bedroom and it came up. And then I said, well, I applied with a roommate, but I don't have their financial information, so I changed it to a 1-bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I wasn't sure. I had to make a move, I had to make a decision.
Well, if we decided that we want to go through this, you need to still talk to Social Security for your own safety. I would call them first, ask the questions, explain what you're proposing, see what they say, and
But
then
Michelle, if she's going to do all that, you need to be honest. Are you serious about doing this? She shouldn't be wasting her time.
I understand
really,
that. I get that, Tiger Kitty. But what I'm also saying is I don't want her to potentially put herself in a bit of a pickle either. So I'm asking her.
Yeah,
I
but
get
I'm not even worried about that. No, what I want to know is do you want to live in Rockland, Maine? You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you even care to move there?
I don't know much about Rockland, Maine. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know more about Rockland, Maine, just like I know more about Norfolk, Connecticut.
Well,
Right.
do you want to move there, Michelle? Is the question, I guess.
Well, maybe she can send me some pictures, give me some demographics of the area.
Well, you could even look that up yourself, actually, Michelle.
Yeah,
Google
it's a coastal town. They have festivals all through the summer. It's not heavily populated, but in the summertime it is overrun with
right.
yeah, I'm telling you, in the summer it's going to be madhouse. They have
How much do
major
you need a car
festivals.
out there? Because obviously, I don't drive, so which means I would be very dependent on you, and so transportation
Yeah.
may be a problem.
Not really. I mean, everything's right there. I mean, I was also thinking about moving to Augusta because because to go into Target, you're gonna have to drive an hour into Augusta, and I thought, why not try to find an apartment in Augusta? But I just, I mean, Augusta's the capital of Maine.
I mean, when my combined income and if your SSI isn't going to be affected, we could actually go for non-subsidized housing. We could actually.
I don't want. No. I don't want to go into non-subsidized.
How much is average rent in Maine right now?
I'm not sure, but I think that with the subsidized, it's going to be like 300 and something for rent.
All right, but still, how much? As I said, like how much is the regular rent? Because I'm wondering if it's under 700, 800, that would be like for you subsidized. That'd be like $350 a month. If it was like
Yeah, I
700,
don't think you're
800 a
gonna
month,
find
even if it
anything
was,
that I don't think
even if it was a
the rent's
2-bedroom.
going up.
Let me
No,
finish.
rent's going up in Maine. No, rent's going up everywhere.
Oh
So
yeah,
you're not gonna find anything
not
under
for
under.
not for 800. No, I'm just using this as an example. But so even if it was 1,000 a month, I mean, yeah, from what you told me, you couldn't afford 500 a month rent, really.
Barely.
Yeah. we'll have to talk about this more later. It's
Right. But that I did want to bring that up because I did get they got a 2-bedroom available in Rockland. So
And you also still need to contact Social Security just to cover your bases. That way you don't have any surprises.
yeah.
I guess it
Fred
doesn't
Moose
hurt.
asks Molasses, how is the hermaphrodite condition in Rockland, Maine? I don't know about hermaphrodites. We don't have community necessarily. I mean, you should be asking about same-sex unions. You know, the LGBTQY plus community. I guess we can ask about that. What's the LGBTQ plus community like in Maine? How well would someone like Michelle and me be accepted by the people in Maine, in Rockland?
What's
I don't know.
that?
Yeah. Oh,
What about Rockland?
are they? Do they accept gays and like the
It's it's a pretty liberal area, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. It's a little half and half. I mean, it's kind of mid-coast, so you're gonna be near Augusta. You're gonna get all kinds of people there in
Yeah.
Rockland. You're gonna have probably pretty even mix of conservatives and liberal on that area of the country.
So probably more like kind of maybe a moderate community.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to know.
What's like the most accepted gay place in America? Do you know?
Boston?
Is there one?
I bet Boston's ridiculously expensive. Oh, yeah.
I don't think anyone cares about.
I'm a
gay
lesbian also,
things
so yes, I
anymore.
would be definitely in the L category.
I really don't think people care like they used to anymore about things like that, though.
They don't care
Yeah,
about
I
it as
don't
much
think
anymore, but there's still some communities.
I imagine there's some people still. I mean, I know some that are stupid, but it's not like it used to be.
No, it's not.
People are much more acceptable of everything, and that includes races and everything.
I never even, speaking of racial, I never understood why anybody made a big deal about race anyway. I mean, you realize a race is a man-made construct just for pigeonholing somebody into a box. Yeah, it doesn't help anybody. All it does is it just says, oh, you're darker skinned than me, so you're a different race than me. What does it matter what your skin color is? You're still a human being. You still built the same as me. You still have the same vital organs I have. What does it matter what color your skin is?
Well, I don't care.
Nobody could afford to go, oh, yeah, oh, okay, I know you're talking about red. Yeah, I know the place. There are definitely communities that are definitely against certain colored people. Whites, they don't like. Some don't like black. Some don't like Asians.
When I was living where I was near DC, I was actually a minority.
Yeah.
And they really didn't mix with white people.
No, they don't.
They'd put wanted gardener, must be black owned. You know, they do things like that all the time. Wanted, blah blah blah, must be black owned. Hairdresser must be black owned. Like everything has to be black owned.
And I find it that most of these LGBTQ people live in ghettos. It's caused by drugs. The LGBTQ thing. Really? I think in the case of LGBT community, I think they probably just want to be, you know, along with people that are similar to themselves so that they feel a sense of camaraderie. I think the same is true with the black communities too. You don't really see a black family necessarily moving into a white neighborhood
Mm.
because they want to stay with their own people of their own ethnic group.
Well, yeah, yeah. I guess it's just. I guess it's the same. And I notice the churches in America, they don't really mix either, do they?
Not a lot, no.
That's weird.
But you know what's funny now? You got the situation over in the UK. That's kind of similar. You got all those illegals coming into the UK. It's the same deal. They want to keep their own culture within their new country. You know, they don't
Yeah.
they don't really mingle outside of the communities. Um,
I find like
then
one of
what
the
was the point of moving?
apartments.
Then what was the point of moving to a new country if you're not going to at least try to become part of the large part of the community? But that's what
One of
happened.
the apartments that I applied to in California, I mean, it did seem like there was a more of a black community there. You know, I mean, so
Yeah,
in some, yeah,
especially in Los Angeles. But
yeah,
then,
that could happen a lot. Yeah,
but then you got your homeless communities that can like in downtown Los Angeles that definitely they're definitely divided ethnically and racially. Um, and in Slab City, most everybody's white, from what I understand. I mean, maybe that's not
yeah,
entirely
that's
true.
interesting. Yeah, that's true
Yeah.
in Slab City. Yeah,
Well, I like I said, I think race is kind of stupid, but people wanting to stay along with their own community is not stupid. We see that a lot of ghettos that way, even in the 1900s. For example, the Irish tend to stay with the Irish, Italians stay with the Italians, Norwegians stay with the Norwegians. So
you know, I found a lot of racism in California between, particularly the Hispanic community towards the whites. I found women. I found Hispanic. I found racism. Like I would be treated unfairly by Hispanic women all the time. If they were in positions of power, I think they would treat me badly because I was white.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah,
well, remember one time California was part of Mexico. Let's remember that. And we got California not because they bought the state from Mexico, but we actually, I believe, won it in the Spanish American War. I believe.
oh really?
Yeah. So we got Southern California originally was part of Mexico.
Yeah,
So that's why you
yeah,
see a lot of this stuff. You know, the people of California, a lot of them are loyal to Mexico because they were originally from Mexico.
yeah,
And so there's just some very distant undercurrents in the past that still kind of resonate in California. And same thing with we say true with Texas because Texas used to be part of Mexico too at one time. And then
yeah.
it became its own state. And then it became its own country before it became a state of the United States. Most people did not know that for a while Mexico was its own country.
I'll be back in a minute and going just for a tiddle.
Yeah. I worked with a lot with Mexicans in California. They plan on taking California back. I'm sure Los Angeles, Southern California would like to return to being part of Mexico. I'm sure that's a deep thought of theirs. But one question is, would it really be realistically practical, considering the fact is that Mexico is kind of in a bit of a problem with policy. Government policies in Mexico are not exactly that great. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. This is my opinion, is I think you're gonna see the United States is gonna end up being splintered into individual countries because it's too big and it's too unsustainable. We can't maintain this huge country, just like with the Roman Empire, just like with the British Empire. You're going to see the United States just break up into little itty bitty regional governments because it's just too big. I know that doesn't excite some people, but the truth of the matter is, it's a game of dominoes. All it's going to happen is, the individual governments are going to go. For example, New England could say, well, we here New Englanders know what New Englanders need because we are of New England, whereas the people in Washington, D.C. have no idea what New England needs. Okay? Same thing with the Southwest. They're saying is, well, we go Las Vegas, like Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, and Southern California are going to say, well, we're going to become our own regional government because we know we all have a common heritage and understand what our common heritage needs. I think you're going to see a splintering of America into individual regional governments. And it does make sense because you can't. The way America was created was, even back when it was just 13 colonies, it was never meant to be this big, huge thing it is now. I think if our founding fathers really thought about it, they would have said, you know what? Let's break this into let's break this into regional governments so it doesn't get too unyieldy. I think it could happen still. Yeah.
So what's tonight, Michelle? Tuesday? Are you doing movies tonight?
I don't know if we have anything planned. I still haven't gotten The Odd Couple for 1968 yet, and I don't really think the movies have really been doing super great. I mean,
you want to give it a skip for a week, or
yeah, we can skip it for a week. I mean, I guess I keep trying to download The Odd Couple for 1968, and I keep running into problems trying to find a site for it.
Well, I mean, why don't you just look for a different? Why does it have to be that movie?
Well, I was going to originally show it. Originally is The Odd Couple original, then The Odd Couple 2, and then of course I couldn't get Odd Couple 1, so I ended up just showing Odd Couple 2 with the other movie we had laying around on the hard drive. And
just start.
But what I'm also afraid of is I'm afraid that Kick one day is going to go, this is your third DCMA thing. Guess what? You're off the platform. And that would be devastating too, because
what do they count those things?
Yeah, I'm sure they count them. I'm sure they're taking notes.
And you've had 2.
I had 2, and originally I found out that especially if it's a newer movie, you're definitely gonna get a lot of
I would have thought that.
Older movies they tend to leave you alone on. Like for example, Odd Couple 2 came out around 1997, so they didn't say anything about Odd Couple 2, no more than they say anything about Ernest Goes to Jail.
I loved the Harold and Kumar. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
another movie follower here. It's growing a little bit, Michelle.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, movie night used to be, again, either you and me or you and Red.
Right.
Or I don't know if it was...
The music show is certainly grown.
I don't know if...
the music show is certainly grown, but right now we're running out of unique music, and I might want. I do want to play some of the older music, but everybody wants the new music. Like Red wants rap and hip hop, but he doesn't.
Well, and Michelle, to be honest, I think you should play some of what your he's there every week listening to your radio show. I mean, the least you can do is play some songs other people like,
Yeah, but the problem is we don't have all the albums that like people talk about Tupac and stuff on vinyl. No one's
Okay,
donated.
well, I guess we need to look at some new vinyls. See what we can come up
Or
with.
new,
If you want, I guess,
or some secondhand ones too. In some cases,
yeah, or you should just say then you send me the vinyl and I'll play it.
yeah, that's what I do with Stan because he does.
Right.
But
There
like
you
I
go.
said, is so if you guys like a certain record we played and you find it somewhere at a thrift shop or whatever, and it's in reasonably good shape, then yeah, we'll play it for you. Rap now, it's a bunch of guys or gays. Well, rap has always been kind of strange music anyway. It's never really doesn't resonate with everybody. I'm just not me,
Well, you say that, Michelle, but you love your rap song.
Yeah, you guys have heard that one enough, haven't you?
I know we have, but you like it, don't you?
No, it's because that one is something I can understand. 99 cents for a record, that's not bad if you can find one. Speaking of the rap song, how many people here? A lot of the people here have heard it, Michelle. A lot
I think
of them.
everyone's heard the rap song by now.
I can play it again. You can play it again.
Do it.
Let me switch the screen so you can see the whole screen now. Give me a minute here. The rap song.
The following video is, I'm going to be honest when I say it before you watch this, may upset a whole bunch of you. And frankly, I'm afraid to tell you, honey, it has to happen.
What am I looking for exactly? Take it back before she starts to blame me. Do you know the lady named MicheleMarieDalene? She's the one that can cause a real scene. Also has the title of a motherfucking queen. Has his ass that's been her whole life. But when she is streaming, she is getting all the likes. She barely even tries, and she's not always nice. But I bet you a tenner that she'll show you a good time. Entertainment, that's a forte. Sitting in the snow palace, slaving all the way. In a chair covered in Rusty's head. Picks up the phone. Connor, you're on the air. Don't expect expectations from the queen. Watch long enough and you'll know just what I mean. Not spitting out the shade and trying to throw the doubt. Just watch a little bit, tune in and figure out. But be warned, it's hard to look away. It's almost like a trap from the serpent with a gaze. Or maybe from some forces that's a team. I swear to you, my friend, it's like a fever dream. And the show is just about to start. I'm saving all the clips of my favorite part. A theater for insane minds. Don't forget that she is legally blind. Give it a little bit, and I'm sure that she will ban me. Then I get banned by the demon that collude me. Yes, you heard me right. It's the one inside the head. The one Michelle blames when the racist things are said. Racist things about the one who brought the roaches. Ed is coming back as the summertime approaches. Getting cool beers with full of nose trains streaming from the front porch even when it rains. At this rate, maybe Dory's coming back. Bet that she exploded, and by that I mean with fat. If you think that she will be boring, then no worry about it, bro. She's stuck up in porn. Then funny ain't it though that she used to be a sister. No good con, she's not like Krista, not even close. It's not the same thing on top of all the shit. She also was a thief. So you know she likes the tits that are so pretty, especially the ones that hang on like a kitty. Maybe did I mean the ones that are on that go get you? I don't know. Hopefully Stan don't sue me. If he does, he ain't gonna get much rent. Truth be told, I don't give a damn. He a damn good man, and he got a good plan. He the one getting Ed loaded up in the van. Yes, you heard me right, other words I said. If you don't believe me, go ahead, ask Fred. He probably playing that little well. Go ahead, hit him up, be a real good pal. So spark it up now, and let's smoke a bolt and tune into the queen. With
Yes,
David
right,
Bordeaux.
David,
They got a good show with the chill ass flow. Hope Michelle don't kill them all with the snow. Kinda like the way that she did to Pete, but Rich, god damn it, this is good ass beat. Hope again, Michelle, and you can meet and watch the documentary with commentary. The phones are coming back as well as smack old cat scenes. Michelle's site finally got back on the right track. I don't know that much what the future be holding, but I can say right now that it's gonna be real golden. It's gonna be a lot better than it was, at least. Much better than it was with that fucking going to church.
I'm not much at this book stuff. Let's see.
Okay, there you go. That was the actual thing to my 5K. So, yeah, he created that, and he always asked me what, how come you never play it? I'm like, okay, I could play it once in a while, which is what we did. So you got a chance to hear it. So I haven't seen him around much. I saw him last night, I think.
Well, I love it because I'm in it. That's why I love that song. No, it's just a good song. I actually think I would buy that if it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what would I do? Release that in a DVD or something? Because that was the video clips. And you'll probably notice, too, that the video quality has varied over the years. Technology has changed a lot over the years in the studio. Not as much as some have. So your studio, the cameras haven't really changed that much.
Rusty changed yourself.
Yeah. Very annoying, says Mojo. Ron the church likes like James Corden. Who's James Corden?
Maybe she meant looks like.
Well, maybe she does, but I don't know much who James Corden is anyway. It might be a UK personality or something that. Yeah. But Dory changed.
I don't know who he is either.
Dory changed her hair a few times for a while. She was blonde and that, and then she went dark brown, and she went back to a kind of medium brown hair. And
yeah, and there's a picture of you there. It honestly looks like you've got a brown perm.
Yeah. Well, that was the earlier hair color when they were still trying to learn how to get Michelle's hair color where it is now. A couple different colors and different ideas. Finally, we got to the point where the colors was able to do Michelle's hair. Now, Michelle's hair was dark brown right after her accident because all the salons are closed because of the big C. And Michelle, of course, physically.
I know who he is now, Mojo. I know who he is. He even hosts American shows now.
Okay.
Yeah. I know who he is. He was in that Welsh thing. What was it called?
Americans Got Money?
No, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. It was an English program.
Okay.
You know what I loved? It was a British show. It was the tattoo. It was the tattoo show that was British. Me and Cruzy used to watch that all the time. I can't remember the name of that. Tattoo Fixers. I think.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
What a great
they go
show!
In and they fix up like shitty tattoos.
Yeah. Yep.
It was in Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, Gavin and Stacey. That was a really good program, but it's English.
I never seen it. I don't know anything about these shows.
They're Welsh. Well, it was a Welsh family and an English family. Very funny.
Okay. Actually, Wales, you hardly hear anything about Wales. I don't know much about Wales at all.
Not much to Wales, to be honest. I've been quite a few times. I used to go magic mushroom picking.
Really? That's easy to get over there?
Yeah, a lot of sheep.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of sheep. I do know about that. Same thing with Same with parts
Well,
of Scotland.
I reckon it helps with the magic mushrooms then, because that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, I mean, it's still interesting to think now.
Ain't shit.
Speaking of interesting history, what would ever happen if the Roman Empire never fell? I always wondered that. What if the Rome never fell? What if Roman Empire was still a thing today? How would
Oh
the
yeah,
world be
wow, that'd be
different?
global. You talk about new world order and global empire. I mean, that could very well be possible if Rome was in power today. We would all be under the Catholic Church.
Probably because it was Constantine that became a Catholic because when he became a Christian.
Yeah.
But you realize the Roman Empire, even in the early years, was split between Eastern and Western Roman Empire. The Eastern
Oh,
Roman
really?
Empire was still doing extremely well, while the Western Roman Empire was pretty much languishing.
Yeah.
What destroyed the Western Roman Empire was a variety of things that's going on today in the economy in the world, and especially in the United States, depravity, and also people wanted to basically be lazy. They didn't do anything. They had hired mercenaries to be their military, which is kind of stupid because they basically trained the Visigoths and the Vandals, which eventually would sack Rome. they gave them Roman training, so they had the skills to actually do just that. It's really interesting to think about that. Great bands from Bales. Okay. But I'll tell you one thing though is that's where it's funny. It seems like collapse of empires is occurring faster and faster now than it was back even at the time of Rome. Rome, it took like almost 1,000 years. And all of a sudden you had the British Empire and Charlemagne's empire in between collapsed, and then you had the British Empire collapse at 200 years. And American Empire is collapsing now. So it's just interesting how the periods of history are getting empires are lasting longer or shorter and shorter and shorter. They're not lasting as long. It's a good question, though. The question is why. I think with mass communications, I think it's helping to hasten the downfall of empires. Because at the time of the British Empire, they had the telegraph and they had the telephone and the radio, just like America does. And now when you got the internet and social media platforms now in the world, it's almost like empires can't really survive because they have lost control. That's a good point. I wonder if that's why we see the collapse of the empires. It's because social media is decentralizes power control. I think the World Economic Forum kind of wants that back, but I don't think they're going to get it. No, because people rather be free and not living under some man's thumb. I don't think you're going to see people wanting to support the World Economic Forum. I don't think it's going to be a thing. That's why they're trying to be sneaky about it. But the truth is, as people realize what's going on, even now, and they're still, just like we're seeing in the European Union with your EU trying to do certain things with farm bills that are basically causing farmers to get so angry about things that they're rioting in European countries because they don't want to be manipulated like that. So I don't know what you guys think about the World Economic Forum and the Bilderberg Group, but let's ask you what you both think about that. Sometimes I feel like I'm giving a class to a bunch of students that don't even know their history. Oof. But then you guys know things I don't know.
I don't know history. Why would I know American history?
That's right.
Well, we're talking about world history. We're not even talking about American history.
Oh, what? Why would I even care about history? How does that affect my life?
Because when you know history, you see that there's patterns that repeat.
Okay.
And you have the ability, once you know history, you know what you can do to avoid those same mistakes that
I think the thing with history is when you're English, you have a lot of history because of
Oh yeah,
England,
it goes back
and
ancient.
it is
It's
thrown
tribal.
down your throat when you're at school.
goes
Like,
back even
Yeah.
before before the Romans even set up their first location in the UK. I mean, British history goes back way, even before the Roman occupation in Britain. People don't realize that.
I mean, I do like history, I guess, to a point.
I mean, yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it's very interesting when you look at trends. You see there's kind of like a circle jerk in history that keeps going on in the same old circle where a dog is chasing its own tail. Where sometimes people think, oh, we got the solution, it's unique. And then some historian goes back and says, excuse me, that was tried 200 years ago. We got the exact same trend. Oh, wait, what? And then they're like, oh, they retried that 200 years ago and it didn't work. So people who don't know history at all repeat the same thing, mistakes. Does it ever kind of work out where they sometimes repeat the same successes? Sure. But their successes, they usually don't throw them in the dustbin of history.
All right, well, I'm going to get going.
Yeah, it's time to get ready for me to go down
It
to
was nice talking to you.
Cubby's, get some coffee. You just had coffee. You don't even have breakfast yet. Right. Well,
Get
I'll have
more
breakfast
coffee.
first.
No, you can never have enough coffee. All right, I'll catch
I
you
know.
later.
I'm gonna make some more. I'm gonna make another pot.
Okay. So anyway, you talked to Social Security and you asked them the tough questions, and because you're gonna need
Yeah,
to.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what they say about it. But I think I should go ahead and get the apartment myself, and then scope it out, and
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
always
That's why I
get an
mentioned that one time
application.
when you were gonna go down to Rachel, Nevada, too. It
Yeah,
was
I mean, we could. I mean, just we could get a separate apartment in the same complex or something. You know what I mean? If it looks all right, you might want to have your own space.
yeah. I kind of do like my own space because you know how my life is. It's between doing
Yeah.
YouTube
But then I'd
videos.
be right close by. Then I'd be right close by if you needed anything,
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
That would be doable. All right. For now, thanks for coming up on panel. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I hope you come by again soon. It's the same link.
I will.
Just keep it on file because it rarely
I
ever
will.
changes. All right.
Awesome.
You have a nice day today, okay?
Yes, you too, Michelle. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. End call. Yeah, it was interesting talking about some of the stuff. It's just interesting how history comes around, goes around. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's okay. It does work out eventually. History is strange sometimes. Yeah, it can be. As far as I'll go back into try to see if I can get the movie to download from BitTorrent. Oh, so I just say watch the space and see what happens if we have a movie night today. And So, I mean, everybody, I want to say thank you for coming. Please don't forget to like and share the show out to everybody. Let's continue to grow this platform. Let's continue to grow this show. Because you know as well as I do that this show is really unique in the sense that it has a lot of different people. And I want to say, everybody, be excellent to another party on, and I'll see you all again real soon, okay? Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, everybody.